Welcome to Gobbln Blood Bowl channel. Work hard, hit hard, play hard. Will you survive Gobbln Blood Bowl? Proudly serving Blood Wifer beer in all Gobbln stadiums.
Hello everyone to another episode of the Gobbln Blood Bowl channel for Season 19. In today's episode, I, Clunk, will be covering all the division standings at the end of Week 5 for both Proving Grounds and the Stomping Fields. After that, I will go through my findings of the whole Iron Death Marks thing, for those that don't know much about that. And then, after all of that, I will mention a few special announcements that you all may want to hear at the end of the show. So, without wasting any more time, let's get to it. Okay, starting with the Proving Grounds, the Pit Division. It looks like Vio Gente Muerte is leading the pack, 3-1-1. Deadland Cannibals, and it looks like a pretty tight division. Grunge and No Idea yet are struggling, but they'll get there. So let's see what goes on here. Nothing much special there. Alright, now on to the Sands division for the Proving Grounds. Typhoid Marionettes and Quesos Phoenixes are battling out for the top spot, meanwhile leaving the other contenders battling out for whatever's left remaining. Will that change? Well, we'll find out. Now for the Fields division. Dazed and Confused haven't lost a match yet. Spicy Nights, though, are struggling to keep up. Bad Feet and Undead, well, they're on their way, but maybe they might pull one out. Who knows? Nuremberg is struggling a bit. Hopefully they'll get something in there. Now on to the Bull division. Putrid Spleens and the Phoenix Roller Guard are battling out for the top spots, with Hertz and Swanee Tigers close behind them. Super Villainous and Indiana Goat Friends are struggling a bit. Maybe they might catch up, maybe not. We'll see. On to the Stadium division. Oh, this is my old division. Grave Matter is taking the top spot with a commanding lead. Nuffles, Mordheim, and Busted Nuts are all battling it out. And Tlaxian and Rottingham Rotters are both vying for not last place. So, on to the next division. Arena. Santa Slayers, interesting name, along with Mythforge are battling out for the top spot. Santa's with a couple ties and there are no losses make them a little bit better than the Mythforge. Rotting Tomatoes, Surgical Nurses, they're fighting it out for the mids. And Grim Expectations is on the bottom of that ring. Get It Together was a beginning team, so we'll see how they do. For the Dome division, there's a lot of battles going on here, a lot of tie matches. It can go pretty much anywhere. Warpstone Madness and Acquisence are at the top right now, but that could change in a heartbeat. So, interesting division. Must be a lot of kills going on there. On to the Coliseum division. Metabolically Challenged takes the top spot. Touch of Grey right behind them. United Shire of Altdorf and Cabal Vision Call Center are battling out. Rotwing Extremists and Half Foot Under are battling out for the last place. On to the next division. Well, whenever that pops up. La 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 la. Oh, there we go. Circus Maximus. Green Jihad. They are pulling into the number 1 spot, going 4-1-0. Brains of Fire right behind them. And then you got Hey Look At Me and the Goatless Warband. I think I have them in the wrong order, but nonetheless, they are battling out for the mid-runs. And the Ninja Nurgles and the K9 units battling out for last place. On to the Stomping Fields. First, we're going to hit the Ambush division. Iwana Iguana is in the top spot, with Evil Deadites, RIP, Cleveland Crushers, and Reign of Terror all right behind him. Can still go pretty much anywhere. No steroids here, though, having a little tough. I think they're actually one of the lower armored value teams here, since they are the Norse. The rest of them, a little bit more up there. Well, there is the RIP, but they are very agile. So let's look at the statistics a bit here. And it looks like, as far as offensive goes, you got Iwana Iguana and RIP right at the top with the most amount of touchdowns. And casualties, Evil Deadites, Cleveland Crushers. That's probably why they're sitting in the middle of the division. Let's see here, RIP with the most amount of completions, passing yards, rushing yards. Ugh, so close to call. I'd put my vote on RIP for the top spot in the division at the end of the year. On to Bushwhack. Another tightly run division. Far from puking, though. Kind of lagging behind. Yeah, understandably, though, since he's probably getting bashed around quite a bit. Alright, let's see what's going on here offensively. Underworld Nars have the most amount of touchdowns, with Segundo and Tento with the least amount scored against them. Casualties, Late Night Horrors, got 20 casualties already. Wow, by week 5, that's pretty good. Rushing yards at 486 for Late Night Horror. Completions in the Black Rock Inquisition, both at 7 completions. Passing yardage, it looks like the Black Rock Inquisition take the lead on that. 74 to 48. Dang, you Frenzy right behind him in that. That division can pretty much go anywhere. Far from puking, tough love on them. I do wish the best for them, though. If they get 5-0, they could very well end up seeing themselves in the playoffs. Moving on to the Clash division. We got Philosopher Kings taking the top spot, but leaving everybody else battling out for whatever's remnants they leave behind. And looking at the statistics, too, Philosopher Kings seems to be at the top of the boards for offense, defense, casualties, and rushing yards. For completions, well, Philosopher Kings ain't much for that, being chaos, yeah. And in passing yards, granted, they're going to be at the bottom of the poll there, too. So, you got Blood Bowl and Chill and Ragnar's Dimrats leading the completions and the passing yards. They're kind of fighting over that. I guess if there ain't much left for scraps, that's what you're going to do, is fight for some statisticals in there. So, still rooting for the Blood Bowl and Chill. Get your act together. I want you winning that division. On to the Conflict division. Crazy Claws and the White Cycle Angels. Going for the top spot. Lions of Grace close behind, and Spikeberg Steelers along with them. Forsaken Sins and Topi D Campana, whatever you want to say, are on the bottom of the list. Looking at the statisticals here, Crazy Claws lead for offense, most touchdowns, with Lions of Grace at 9, White Cycle Angels at 8. There are a lot of touchdowns in this league. Defensively, well, there's a lot against them. Casualties. Looks like Forsaken Sins and Lions of Grace are leading that department. By the way, Lions of Grace, they're kind of an off-ball, high-elf team. They're more about strength than they are about agility. And it seems like it'll be interesting to see how that team develops. On to the Flank division. This looks like it's going to be another battler here. A lot of the statistics, no one blowing the water out of anything, so let's just go straight to the statistics. Offensively, North remembers has the most touchdowns. Defensively, Assassins of the Youth have the least scored against them. Casualties, Orc Range Crush leading the pack. Rushing yards, Nim's Secret. Completions, Nim's Secrets again, and along with passing yards, Nim's Secret. So it seems like Nim's Secret's got a lot going on there, just not quite getting the casualties since they're sitting on the bottom in that category. I have a feeling if they did, they'd probably be leading that division. Now let's move on to the Skirmish division. Crimson Dragons are leading this one. Pretty strongly, too, leaving the rest of them picking up scraps wherever they leave behind. Crimson Dragons leading the offense with the most amount of touchdowns, and the defense with the least amount of touchdowns scored against them. They're not quite heavily into the casualties, though, only getting 6 of them out there. But they do have a heck of a rushing game. It looks like at the completions, which looks like 11 completions, probably a bunch of short ones, and they got a total of 18 passing yards. So that's actually pretty good So it makes you wonder what the other teams are doing to try to stop that strength of the Crimson Dragons. Let's move on to the Toe Jam division. Well, they're all battling it out. Wow. And the screen comes up screwed up. So let's look at the offense here. Las Chicos leads with 9 touchdowns. Pretty in pink. Leads against touchdowns against. Casualties. Las Chicos Del Golden giving out the most casualties. Probably suffering the most too, who knows. The rushing yards. Las Chicos Del Golden again. Completions. The Trinity Blades get it with 10. Passing yards. Naturally go to the Trinity Blades. So they're getting about 6 yards on average per completion. So you know they're not throwing the ball short very often. That's an interesting way of playing a game. I love long bombs. Always adds excitement to a game, and God, we need a lot of that. Alright, let's move on to the Death Marks. Death Marks are out-of-game currency that can be obtained and used in the Gobblin Premier League. You can obtain Death Marks in a few different ways, but I will approach this as a newer coach that is thinking about going into the Goblin's Premier League. First, in all Gobblin Leagues, a player can accrue a bounty on their heads. This is determined by level and stat increases. 1 Death Mark is placed on a player for each stat increase, and for each level they gain beyond level 3. For example, Morgana from the Dark Elf team White Cycle Angels is a level 4 player. She has no stat increases, so she would have a 1 Death Mark bounty on her head. If she had a strength increase, she would have an additional Death Mark on her bounty, making it 2 Death Marks. If she also went up to level 5, her bounty would increase by another 1, making it a total of 3 Death Marks. Bounty values can range anywhere from 1 Death Mark to a whopping 9 Death Marks, if a player ended up with all level increases with stat increases. So that can be quite a bit. You may earn more Death Marks if a bounty was placed on a player by another coach, but that may not be allowed in Stomping Fields or Proving Grounds. Second, a bounty can only be claimed if you give that player a permanent injury, or by killing them. Badly hurts, KOs, and missed next games do not count. So it isn't easy to get those bounties. So watch out for all the important bounties, even if you're not in the Premier League yet. You can do some saving on your way there. Those are the only 2 ways to gain death marks before entering a Premier League. Once you enter the Premier League, you automatically are awarded 2 death marks to get you started. These 2 death marks, I should say iron death marks by the way, these 2 death marks are awarded every time you enter a season in the Premier League, regardless if it's a new team entering in, or if it's a team that has already played a previous season. Also, all death marks are awarded to a coach, not to the team. So you can save those death marks for another team if you so wish to do so. Once you enter a Premier League, that is when you can start spending your death marks. Here are a few different ways in which to spend them. The description of each you will have to find in the links provided below. Merchandise. You have Heroes Practice Rundown Training. The price of it, 5 DMs. Apothecary Rubdown, 5 DMs. Voodoo Doctor Visit, 6 DMs. One-Sided Coin, 14 DMs. Witch Doctor Back Rub, 4 DMs. Get Out of Jail Free Card, 2 DMs. And Know It All, that's another 2 DMs. Another category for spending would be training and exhibition matches. Fouling training, 2 DMs. Kicking training, 1 DM. I say DM, but by the way, DMs are death marks. Fundamentals training for a veteran, 9 DMs. Passing training, 4 DMs. Skink Crush Match, 1 DM. Those are always interesting to watch. See if anybody can actually do anything. Alright, let's go on to the next category. Division and Schedule Maker Bribes. Division Maker Bribe, 1 DM. Schedule Maker Bribe varies. All depends how much you want to spend to get that spot. Once you enter a Premier League, there are 2 other options that open up for you to earn death marks. One option is the betting cages. This is where you choose from all the games in each week of Premier. From what I gather, they used to pay out at the end of the season. In Season 19, I believe they are trying to pay out on a weekly basis. The winner is decided by the coach that has made the most correct choices. In case of a tie, the reward gets carried over to the next week. The other means of making death marks would be the Survivor Board Pool. The rules of this are that you pick 2 teams each week to win. Every pick you make cannot be a pick that you already picked before. Every time you are wrong, you accumulate points. Once you reach so many points, you are eliminated. The winner is decided by the coach that remains in the competition, or the coach that has the least amount of points. In the miraculous chance of a tie, the payout is divided evenly to the tying coaches. Well, that is all I know for now in regards to death marks. I will try and remember to update any relevant information in future episodes, but in case I do forget, which is likely, take it upon yourself and watch the Gobbln Forum newsletters. And now, to the most important things to mention. Gobbln Blood Bowl channel will now only be made in regards to start of the season, mid-season flips, end of season, / beginning of playoffs, and the championship matches. If you wish to present a game to us for possible consideration of Game of the Year, it will be your responsibility to bring it to our attention. So far, only 1 coach has mentioned anything, and due to certain issues, all footage of the match he mentioned has been lost. You can blame the Black Orcs for that one. Stupid Goblin Field Goal Holiday. The next announcement. FatZomby will be airing his matches after each match from the Premier League with his Dark Elf team, the White Cycle Angels, or the WPA. Strongly recommend that your children not watch this, as the matches will not be edited. And for the last, and probably the biggest announcement, FatZomby will be holding a special season for all those score-happy coaches. In a recent interview, he mentioned that the focus of the season will be about scoring touchdowns, since the fans seem to get real excited when there is a lot of action related to the ball. The reward for the tournament is a free upgrade of the Blood Bowl 2 to Blood Bowl 2 the Legendary Edition. The rules of said tournament are: 1. Any team can participate. 2. Must follow all rules of Gobbln. 3. To win a match, the winning team must have 3 touchdowns accrued throughout the match. This league is about scoring touchdowns and not about holding on to the ball at the scoring end zone. 4. Any game that the winning coach does not have 3 touchdowns accrued will be considered as 0 points. If the game is a tie match and both coaches have 3 touchdowns minimum, both coaches will be awarded a win. 5. Top 2 teams from each division will go to the playoffs. In case of a tie, then all teams tied will go into the playoffs. There will be no tiebreakers. In the playoffs, rule number 4 will not apply. Rule number 6. Bribes and fireball wizards are not allowed, regardless of means of which you may get them. Pay attention to that one. You can still have wizards, but you only can use the lightning. Rule number 7. must score a touchdown if you are in position to do so without any die rolls as soon as possible. No holding on to the ball when you can score without risk. Penalty is a forfeit and an admin result at the opposing coach's discretion. 8. There can only be one winner, and that winner will be the championship winner. 9. There will be a special season set aside for this. Outside of any mentions above, all rules of Gobbln will be mentioned. All rules of Gobbln will be enforced, and if need be, taken care of by the Gobbln bosses. That'll do it for this episode. Y'all have a good one, and keep your eyes out on the boards. When I post them up, you may want to be signing up. Good luck, all. Have a good day.